The sheriff's patrol car stirred up a thick plume of dust as it came to a halt right in front of our family ranch. Deputy Morrison climbed out, tipping his hat back against the bright morning sunlight. From my porch, I observed him, holding my coffee mug, as he walked up, with that familiar expression cops wear when they're pulled into some absurd situation. "Morning, Luke," he greeted me, his voice carrying a tired edge. "Got a complaint about you not leaving the place after it's supposedly been sold." I took a deliberate sip from my mug. "Well now, Deputy," I replied calmly, "I'd sure like to hear who exactly sold it, considering I'm the rightful owner and haven't put my name on any papers." In the background, I spotted Karen Belmont emerging from her gleaming white SUV. Her HOA Predator badge shone brightly, almost like the sheriff's star she clearly envied. Her impeccably styled blonde hair stayed perfectly in place despite the wind as she strode toward us with purpose. "Officer, this individual is trespassing on land that's been officially put up for sale," she declared confidently. "I have the listing right here on my phone. $3.2 million. And we've got potential buyers lined up for viewings this very afternoon." Deputy Morrison glanced back and forth between us, obviously regretting his assignment. "Ma'am, do you have any documentation proving an ownership transfer?" he asked. "Not exactly yet, but the listing plainly states the property is on the market. It's been active for 2 weeks now." Placed my mug down on the porch railing. "Deputy, this ranch has belonged to my family since 1875. My great-great-grandfather constructed this house himself. I'd love to see this so-called listing that says different. That incident happened 3 months ago, marking the start of the most bizarre property battle Copper Creek had ever witnessed. My name is Luke Garrett, and I'm a 4th-generation rancher. The Garrett Ranch covers 160 acres of top-quality Colorado terrain, offering mountain vistas that could bring tears to a strong man's eyes. We've owned cattle here for more than 100 years, enduring droughts and floods, prosperous eras and hard times alike. We never faced issues with neighbors until Karen Belmont arrived in the fresh development built on the bordering land. They named it Pine Ridge Estates. 25 identical homes governed by HOA regulations thicker than an old directory. Karen had relocated there 2 years prior from California, promptly campaigning for HOA president with promises of imposing structure on disorder. She secured the position by a slim 3-vote margin, and it's been tormenting residents ever since. Our initial clash occurred when she reported my rooster for breaching noise rules. I courteously pointed out that my rooster had been announcing dawn on this property long before her neighborhood even existed. In response, she issued me an official notice for not managing livestock sound output. Next followed gripes about manure odors, dust raised by the cattle, and the shabby look of my 150-year-old barn. Every occasion, I informed her that farming zones operated under separate guidelines from housing areas. Every time, she'd depart in a rage, grumbling about neighborhood norms and home values. But nothing could have readied me for that morning when Deputy Morrison arrived. Once Karen sped away angrily, he displayed the listing on his phone. Sure enough, there it appeared, across 3 separate realty sites. My ranch, featuring unauthorized photos and a write-up implying I was anxious to unload it for development. Prime development chance, it proclaimed. Classic ranch land primed for upscale building. Seller eager for fast transaction. A chill ran through me as I browsed the images. Somebody had entered my land uninvited, snapping pictures of all structures and boundaries. There were even aerial drone views capturing the entire property spread. I devoted the remainder of that day to calling the real estate platforms, demanding faith postings be taken down. Each demanded evidence of ownership, paperwork, and official takedown forms. In the meantime, my phone began blowing up with calls from agents begging to arrange tours. By week's end, I dealt with 17 separate parties arriving at my entrance, each insisting on scheduled inspections. One especially pushy builder from Denver went so far as to snip my gate lock and roll straight to the doorstep, claiming I was merely haggling over the offer. That's when I realized this went beyond Karen's typical meddling. This meant conflict. I retained Betty Lawson, the top land attorney across 3 counties. With 4 decades of handling property conflicts, she was known for showing no mercy in litigation. After reviewing the postings and the counterfeit seller's contract I'd managed to acquire from one site, her expression sharpened like a hunter sighting game. "Luke," she remarked, with a faint grin, "this involves major fraud. Several felonies, in fact. Identity theft, document forgery, wire fraud, plus trespass for those photographs. We'll pin them down hard." As Betty tackled the courtroom angle, I conducted my own digging. Then Tom Crawford, among the more level-headed folks in Pine Ridge Estates, drew me aside at the local cafe. "Luke, I probably shouldn't say this," Tom whispered, checking his surroundings. "But you need to hear it. Karen had been going on at the HOA meetings about pushing you off your land. She laid out this big scheme for the subdivision to grow right onto your property. She even passed around renderings for a Phase 2 expansion. Renderings that included my ranch," I said, stunned. Tom gave a solemn nod. "Said that once you were out of the picture, the entire area would be redeveloped into something upscale. Claimed she already had developers waiting in the wings. But listen, Luke, word is she's in deep money trouble. Her husband got laid off 6 months back, and they're way behind on the house payments. I figure she's angling for a payoff from whoever's eyeing your spread." That's when the ideas started clicking into place. If Karen wanted to fight dirty over real estate, I could match her move for move. I did some discreet checking and confirmed what Tom said. Karen's home was sliding into foreclosure. The lender was gearing up to pull the trigger. That's when I rang my cousin Eddie, who runs a private equity outfit in Denver. "Eddie, I need you to form a shell company for me. Something bland and official sounding." "What kind of mischief are you cooking up, Luke?" Eddie asked, intrigued. "Just a small real estate play. All above board, I swear." Mountain View Holdings, LLC was filed within days. And the moment Karen's house entered pre-foreclosure listings, we pounced. The bank wanted to dodge the full foreclosure mess, so our all-cash bid was snapped up fast. Best of all, Karen never knew the buyer's identity. The deal closed in a flash, and just like that, the HOA president's house belonged to me. I'll always remember the morning Karen found out. I'd booked a moving crew to arrive at 7 sharp, truck, and all hands on deck. I parked myself on my porch with a steaming mug of coffee, ready for the entertainment. Karen burst out of the front door in her robe, curlers bouncing, yelling at the workers, "What on earth are you doing? This is my home. You've got the wrong house." The foreman, a calm fellow named Roberto, handed her the paperwork. "Sorry, ma'am. Correct address. New owner needs the place emptied by noon." "New owner? That's ridiculous. I never sold anything." That's when I strolled over. "Morning, Karen," I said brightly. "Perfect weather for moving day, don't you think?" She whirled around, face flushing crimson. "Luke Garrett, are you behind this?" I reached into my jacket and produced the deed. Guilty as charged. Mountain View Holdings, LLC, that's my outfit. Purchased it straight from the bank. Funny, you never mentioned being in foreclosure while you were scheming to swipe my ranch. All the blood left her cheeks. "You can't do this. It's harassment. I'll take you to court." Speaking of court, I went on evenly. My lawyer, Betty Lawson, wanted me to deliver this. I passed her a thick envelope. "You're facing charges for fraud, identity theft, trespassing, and slander." Turns out we pinpointed who uploaded those phony listings of my property. The IP address leads straight to your home Wi-Fi. Karen's fingers trembled as she accepted the packet. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "Of course not." "Oh, and you'll want to move your vehicle. I'm expecting some heavy equipment later today." For the following 3 days, I enjoyed myself more than I had in years. Each dawn at 7, I'd arrange for machinery to roll in a backhoe one day, a concrete truck the next. I positioned them carefully to seal off Karen's driveway completely. When she'd charge out furious, ordering me to clear them, I'd politely note that it was private property now. "You can't block my driveway," she shouted on day 2. "I have rights." "Actually," I replied, checking the plat map, "the survey shows your driveway encroaches 2 feet onto my lot, so you've been trespassing every time you parked there. But I'm flexible. I'll allow an easement for 10 grand a month." Her face went beet red. $10,000? That's blackmail. No, that's the proposed commercial access rate. Got it in writing. Or feel free to park curbside and hoof it in. By day 3, news had raced through Pine Ridge Estates. The HOA board called an emergency session. Tom filled me in afterward. Karen apparently tried whipping them into suing me. But once the fake listings and incoming lawsuit came to light, nobody wanted any part of her mess. She ranted for 20 minutes about rights and standards, Tom recounted, laughing. But when Harold flat out asked if she truly tried listing your ranch illegally, she couldn't lie her way out. The motion to boot her as president passed without a single knock except her own, naturally. The icing on the cake was when Karen lawyered up for a counterattack. She brought in a slick Denver attorney who arrived at my place in a tailored suit and polished loafers that had no business on dirt. Mr. Garrett, he drawled smugly, I ain't intends to pursue litigation. This intimidation ends now. Betty Lawson was there reviewing files with me. She rose, barely 5'2" of pure steel, and beamed at him. Excellent. We're anxious for Thetriol too. We've actually amended the complaint. Added conspiracy to defraud. Turns out your client coordinated with a developer offering her a finder's fee for Mr. Garrett's land. Care to review the email chain? The lawyer's smirk wavered. Emails? Oh, yes, Betty said pleasantly. Your client really ought to choose better passwords. Password 123 isn't cutting it these days. But rest assured, we acquired everything through proper discovery. The message outlining her $500,000 cut is especially compelling. That attorney was peeling out in his luxury sedan 10 minutes later, and I never laid eyes on him again. Trial day arrived 6 weeks on. Karen appeared with a new attorney, a weary public defender who clearly knew the odds. Betty laid out airtight proof. Forged contracts, bogus postings, incriminating emails about the kickback. Even grainy footage from the county clerk's office showing Karen photographing my plat records. Judge Harrison, a no-frills veteran of 2 decades on the bench, wasted little time. Mrs. Belmont, she declared firmly. This transcends a mere neighbor spat. You've perpetrated grave offenses: identity theft, fraud, conspiracy, and attempted grand larceny. Abusing your HOA authority to lend credibility to the plot aggravates the matter. Karen stood frozen, her customary poise in ruins. I'm entering judgment for Mr. Garrett on every claim, the judge proceeded. Mrs. Belmont, you are convicted of fraud and conspiracy to commit grand theft. The sentence is 3 years incarceration, suspended to 18 months served, plus 5 years probation. Additionally, you will make restitution of $250,000 to Mr. Garrett for compensatory damages and attorney fees. Karen swayed, her lawyer catching her elbow as she wheezed, to 50,000. I don't have anything close to that. Then I recommend liquidating assets, Judge Harrison answered icily. Court adjourned, as the bailiff escorted a weeping Karen from the room, her once immaculate hair in disarray. Her HOA president badge slipping from her lapel and hitting the floor with a faint ping. I couldn't help reflecting on how the whole saga began with one petty grievance over a rooster's morning call.